How can you serve God through your passions? My name is Jacob Hubbard. This is Freedom, chapter 35, brought to you by Incarnate Ministries, based out of St. Thomas Aquinas in Pilot Point, Texas. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for another day. We're nearing the end here, but please continue to make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and just share this so we can continue to hit new audiences. So this chapter is all about the people bringing Moses all the things that his builders need in order to construct all the things that the Lord required for the renewal of his covenant. Now there's one verse that I want to specifically focus on, and that verse says, "All the men and women, the people of Israel, whose heart moved them to bring anything for the work which the Lord had commanded by Moses to be done, brought it as their free will offering to the Lord." That word free will is so important. And later, we even hear about two men, Bezalel and Oholiab, who serve the Lord through what they love to do, and that is this crafting and building, right? And so, do you love your service to the Lord? Do you love the ways in which you serve the Lord? Whether you're giving up your time, your talents, or your treasures, do you love the ways in which you do so? In order to unpack this, I think we need to look at a verse from Matthew chapter 6, where Jesus is addressing how we are to fast. Let's look at what that says. "And when you fast, do not look dismal like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces, that their fasting may be seen by men. Truly I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, that your fasting may be seen not by men, but by your heavenly Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you." Now, when we read this verse, we tend to think that the reward for the hypocrites is simply in the fact that they were praised by men and recognized by them. And I think that's true, but also I think something else is going on here. Let's look specifically at the first part of this verse. It says, "When you fast, do not look dismal." What I think the Lord is saying here is that when we fast, when we do things that are difficult, when we sacrifice for the Lord, if we're doing it to the point in which it makes us dismal, to where it leads us to grumbling, to groaning, to complaining, that's not healthy. That's not spiritually good, because we've received our reward in our self-pity, in our satisfying ourselves by complaining. We make fasting about us rather than about God when we push ourselves to limits that make us frustrated to no end, right? And we live in that frustration rather than our identity as beloved sons and daughters. And in a sense, that frustration becomes the reward of our fasting, because again, we're consoling ourselves in doing so. The point of sacrifice or of fasting or of giving of ourselves isn't to be frustrated, right? It's not to push ourselves to the point in which we get angry or complain or groan out. The point is to be unified with God. And so if we ever lose sight of that, then the fast, in a sense, becomes unhealthy. So am I saying that we should stop fasting, or that we should stop giving of our time, talent, and treasures to the Lord through service or anything like that? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is that we should focus on doing those things in ways that we love. We should focus on ways that we can freely and willingly give of ourselves, rather than ways that lead us to frustration. St. Therese of Lisieux, who is an amazing saint and mystic, she has this to say on fasting and penances. "My mortification consisted in breaking my will, always so ready to impose itself on others, and holding back a reply, and rendering little services without any recognition, and not leaning my back against a support when seated, etc., etc. It was through these practices of nothings that I prepared myself to become the fiancé of Jesus." So for Therese, she realized that too intense self-denial in ways that were so over the top and overwhelming would not have been beneficial for her spirituality. It would have actually become a wedge between her and God. She realized that the way that she needed to be unified to God was through these small penances and sacrifices every single day. She called it the little way. And I think that a lot of us need to learn to embrace God in the little as well, rather than going for all these huge fasts and huge services that aren't life-giving for us. So when we're asked to serve the church, or when we're thinking about serving the church, or when we're thinking about giving something up, or just offering ourselves to the Lord, let's first focus on the ways in which that comes naturally to us, in the ways that we feel blessed and consoled and uplifted in our own passions, rather than working against them. My friend who's a neurologist puts it like this: build a talent stack. Basically, make a bar graph on a sheet of paper and build really high the things that you're really confident in or that you really love doing. And then lower the things that you're good at. And then lower than that, the things that you're still capable in, right? And focus on building up that positive talent stack rather than focusing on your flaws or your weaknesses, right? Focus on giving out of your talents rather than out of the things that the church may need, right? And I'm not saying that we shouldn't give what the church needs, but what I am saying is that that should be part of the whole. The whole, the majority of our life should be giving out of what we love. Because again, we talked about how we have a God of passion, right? And so he wants to work through our passions. There's a place for you in the church no matter what your talent stack, no matter what your passions look like. If you're good at painting, if you're good at working, if you're good at writing, if you're good at singing, if you're good at serving, if you're good at praying, just whatever your talent stack is, whatever your passion is, there's a home for you in the church. And so today's challenge is to build your own talent stack. Find what you feel comfortable in, what you're strong and what you're passionate in. And then reach out to your local church, your local parish, and see how you can use your passions to serve the community. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day.